Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm outside Stamford Bridge after a 1-0 win against Tottenham. Judging by, honestly, the way a lot of Chelsea fans have reacted, you'd think it was a 1-1 draw. I'm not saying people are pissed off, but nobody's really celebrating. Not an awful lot of jubilation. I'm seeing Chelsea fans that are content, but at the same time, they feel like there are cracks that are still there. There's still underlying problems with the way that we're playing and the way that we're managing games, just around the club in general. Now, my opinion is this. If you are unhappy with beating Tottenham 1-0, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how I can persuade you to be happy, because it's a good thing. It's a great thing to beat Tottenham. And I've been very critical of Maresca. I've been very critical of a lot of the games that we've had, the style of play. It's been woeful, it's been boring. I've said before of Southampton and Leicester, you'd do lucky not to fall asleep watching Chelsea. That wasn't the case today. All right, it was much better than I saw against Southampton and Leicester and Copenhagen. All of those games, much better than Arsenal. But then the question is it good enough? And the answer was yes today. So that was good enough to beat, 14th or 15th in the league Spurs. Is that going to do anything? Are those performances going to cut it when we're playing United, when we're playing Newcastle, Forest, Liverpool? These are the games that we've still got coming up. We've got a few others. We've got Fulham, Ipswich, Everton as well. And I'm sure that we can still get some points out of those games. But this is not going to be an easy finish, and we've put this on ourselves. I mean, we could have been comfortably in top four, but instead we're going to have to really scrap for it. And to get top four, for me, straight right off. I'm saying straight away we're not doing it. The only way we get Champions League football is if we finish fifth, and we need to rely on teams around us to capitulate as well. Your Newcastles, your Brightons, your Aston Villas, your Cities. Those are the teams that we need to drop points. Going back to the performance today, Robert Sanchez, a keeper that I despise him. He was the reason that I never wanted Maresca in the first place after Brighton. How can you keep starting this keeper? But we know he's going to start every other game. We know that. So let's analyse the performance for what it was. It was okay. He had some good moments. He had some bad moments. That's not good enough for Chelsea, I'm afraid, because if that bad moment, the goal that Tottenham scored, was allowed, then you would blame the goalkeeper. And then all the other saves, everything else that he done is irrelevant. Because your job as a keeper is to stop goals. That's what you're there to do. But I thought his distribution was better in a lot of ways. He did still make a mistake, but better than I've seen in the past from Sanchez. The defence was good. Gusto, I don't know why we keep inverting the guy. I just want to see him running up and down more. But I thought he was okay inverting. He wasn't bad. But the way Tottenham play, and this is where we go on the front line as well. We had Nicholas Jackson in there today. He's come back from his injury. The way Tottenham play, it allows us to do what we want and to make those runs in behind and to find those spaces that we wouldn't find against other teams that are showing us a low block. And that's where we've really struggled when teams have sat back. So I can't take confidence from this result knowing that Brentford are going to set up in a completely different way. We're going to see different things from Ipswich, from Everton. There's a good chance that you'll see that from most of the teams that we play coming on. And that's where Chelsea have struggled. So we have to look at these games with a pinch of salt in the sense that, yeah, Chelsea got the result, but was it just because we were good? Or was it also because of how bad our opponents were? And I think there's an element of that today with Tottenham. I think ultimately Spurs are Spurs. And we were never going to lose this game. We were never going to lose it. We scraped it, but we did it. And we always seem to do it. The cycle repeats itself. I'd like to see more from our wingers. I'd like to see more from Neto. I'd like to see more from Sancho especially. But, I'm not just going to single out those players and say you need to do more because we already know that. I'm also going to look at the system and say, what can Maresca do to help those players? And for me, the obvious option is to have overlapping fullbacks that can come and make runs to give the wingers options, create space for them to run in and cut inside, or put that through ball so that another cross can come in. And I just think that we can't rely on these wingers to constantly beat a man every single time. This is not 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. That's not what Maresca wants from his wingers anyway. He tells everyone to pass back. I don't know. I don't know how you can rely on these guys to constantly do things individually. I think the team needs to help more with those positions. And you do see help with Jackson. Palmer's obviously making runs as well, but they need more support. They need more support. And I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say that for me, I'd send Sancho back to United. I'd pay the $5 million. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I think you're saving money ultimately on his wages and on the transfer fee as well that we'd end up paying anyway. As for Neto, you just got to do better, man. The standards are higher for you. Like, I don't really have that same expectation as Sancho because he's never proven himself over a full season in the Premier League. So why should I expect him to do it now? We saw what Neto could do at Wolverhampton. That's what I'm looking for now at Chelsea. And then I just want to give a massive shout out to our midfield. Enzo Fernandez, absolutely fantastic alongside Moises Caicedo. In the absence of Romeo Lavia, who's injured again, maybe we need to start having a conversation about Romeo Lavia. Should we sell this guy who's not even... How many games has he played for Chelsea? Less than 20? Like 14 games? 20 games? In almost 2 years. No wonder Caicedo's going down, everyone's shitting themselves, because they're like, nobody else is going to come on. We're going to see Dewsbury Hall instead of Caicedo for the rest of the season. That is not the solution, which is why we obviously brought in, we paid for Asugu, who's going to join us in the summer from Sporting. And that's why Santos as well will make a huge difference when he comes back into the fold. But yeah, great goal from Enzo Fernandez. Palmer was a huge part of the goal as well. I don't know if it was that or the second goal. I think it was Fernandez's goal. Because he was the one who had the shot in the first place to cause that chaos. And ultimately, chaos breeds uncertainty in the defence. And that's where you got to make things happen, guys. And we focused for that split second and Tottenham didn't. So we managed to finish the job. And big up to Enzo Fernandez. I'm really tired, guys, so I apologise if I'm rambling a little bit. This game has taken a lot out of me. That second goal from Moises Caicedo was fantastic. It was brilliant. What a great volley. An easier volley than what he had against Man United, but still, nonetheless, it was beautiful. And for offside to take that goal away, it's just pathetic, isn't it? VAR, it is ruining football. I was there when VAR was first introduced in the Nations League, when England were playing against Netherlands in Portugal. God, that was years ago, wasn't it? And that was when it was first introduced, I think, in those competitions. I don't think they had that in the Premier League before. And, everyone was booing it. It was killing the game. The problem isn't VAR, it's the way it's run, it's the way it's managed. 12 minutes of added time, actually 13, because of incompetent referees on VAR. It's not even to do with players going down, being injured the whole time. More of the added time was because of the referees than the players, and that is a problem. The referees need to be less involved in the game. They shouldn't be the centre of conversation every time we analyse these matches. So, yeah, I mean, we only won 1-0, but really I believe it was 2 because that goal should have stood. Tottenham, obviously, they scored that late equaliser, which was ruled out as well. And then we sat back, didn't we? But listen, I'm not going to criticise Maresca for today because he did what needed to be done. I'm going to, I've been very critical of Maresca. And if he continues to do what he's done in 2025, he's going to get a lot more. But today is not the day for me to shit on the manager. Ultimately, it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was all right. And all right was good enough to beat Tottenham. But it's not going to be good enough to keep winning games in the Premier League when other teams are performing and fighting for points as well. And they have more quality than these guys do in North London because Tottenham are just crap. So... enjoy the win, move on. Brentford is where we really need to see if this team is serious about getting Champions League football or not. And then we'll have to take it from there. But listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying? Do you think Maresca is the man to lead us forward? Do you think he can do it? I personally don't. I don't think he can. I'd like him to, but I don't think he will. But I'm here for it. And he will get all the praise in the world if he can deliver on Champions League football this season, and that will give him that extra time from myself at least, and I'm sure a lot of the other fans to build next season and turn this Chelsea team into what it should be, which is a winning machine. The amount of money we spent, I think we expect a little bit more. So let me know, guys. All the best. Catch up soon.